I don't want it's cranberry juice. Funny weekend this weekend. It's year's anniversary since we lost my mum. So odd day. Thoughts all over the place. Went out, did a few different bits and bats, and I got in, and I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll cheer my son up. I'll watch Wednesday match. So Wednesday travelled down to Portman Road. Only 3 more teams have got more wins than Wednesday since Christmas. So decent form. However, we're playing an Ipswich Town team. We're right up there in the form table with Leeds United, so never going to be an easy game. Ipswich, 50 home goals did score this season. I think that's more than any other team in the country, so we knew it was going to be a tough task. And we talk about things being a free hit. Games where anything you get from them is a bonus. So we probably weren't expecting to get anything. However, just because a game might be seen as a free hit on paper don't mean you've not got to perform. You can lose games and still give a certain level of performance. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's have a quick look at the teams. Ipswich lined up with a 4-2-3-1. Well, it weren't really actually. It was more like a sort of lopsided 3-3-3-1. But anyway, let's call it a 4-2-3-1 for the sake of it. A laddie in goal. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Is that a silent H? I don't know. Sanzire, right back in a fashion. Actually, more of a right-sided centre-half. Wolfenden and Burgess. Davis, supposedly the left-back, but really more of a left-winger. Morsey and Luongo in the holding midfield roles. Burns on the right. Broadhead on the left, although he spent half of his time drifting inside, causing us some right pain in bollocks. Hutchinson in the hole, and Big Kiefer Moore up front. An easy unit. There was a comedy moment today. He stood next to Barry Bannon. He must have been double his size. But anyway, yeah, that's the Ipswich team. So how would Wednesday line up to defeat this Ipswich team? Well, actually, quite surprising. Beadle in goal, a back four of Iorfa, Ehekwe, Bernard and Johnson. A midfield two of Volks and Bannon, and it really was a midfield two today. Masaba, Poveda, Ugbo and Gassama pushed right on there as a front four. They really were. Fairly even start to game. Ipswich, obviously, they've got a way of playing. They try and pass it out from back, get moves going like that. On Wednesday, we've just seen from team lineup, I did think it might be a 4-2-3-1 when I saw names on team sheet, but it was definitely trying to squeeze them, and it was like a 1970s 4-2-4. Very brave from Danny Roll. Obviously, we know the way they're playing. We're trying to really squeeze onto them. Put them under pressure at back. Brave to have that many attacking players on pitch. Like I said, initially I thought Poveda would be playing in that sort of wide right, but essentially we're playing up front with Ugbo for large parts of the game. Brave. The problem we got is we're trying to force Ipswich into mistakes at back, but they're a team more totally comfortable in playing ball out front back. And the problem were we got 4 players squeezed right up there, and as soon as they played round us or through us, it exposed us in midfield. We've got Volks and Bannon in there. Now, I've avoided online because after a 6-0 drubbing, Twitter and Facebook or whatever, they're the last places you want to be. But I can well imagine that pair in midfield, Volks and Bannon, have probably come in from some stick, which I think is probably unfair on them, because as soon as they got past the forward 4 that we'd squeezed up on them, we were totally outmanoeuvred in middle at Park. They were causing us massive problems down our right, their left. as you've seen from the team sheet that I just put up, Ipswich were nominally a 4-2-3-1, but in reality it were not like that. Leif Davis at left back weren't really having to play left back. He was pushing right on. He got Broadhead in front of him, and again, I've not been online, but I suspect Dominic Iorfa's probably taking a load of crap. I felt sorry for Dominic Iorfa, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I thought he was exposed, not really through any fault of his own, but exposed because he couldn't do right for doing wrong. He got two with him all the time. If he went to Broadhead, who were coming inside and sort of joining behind main striker, if he went with him, Davis were free on overlap. If he went with Davis, Broadhead were coming in off, and he couldn't really pass him on. He couldn't pass him on to a Heckway. Right, you deal with him, because a Heckway, no, I'm looking after more. Couldn't pass him on to Bernard. No, I'm keeping an eye on Hutchinson coming from deep, so he couldn't. He was in a no-win situation, I offered all afternoon. And albeit, I know he gave the ball away cheaply for goals in second half, but I thought he had a real task on his hands from opening, to be honest with you. And it would all. It was very brave from Danny Roll, but I think there was a little bit of naivety in there when you're playing a team that's on a form that they're on, when you're playing a team with quality they've got, and same for Bannon and Volks. I don't think anybody played particularly well, but I really think they were hampered with the way that we set up. I'm going ass about tip with this. Everything's back to front, but there's that many goals. I mean, I don't really want to talk about it. The first 5 minutes, Wednesday were squeezing it, and they weren't in gear, were they? Straight after kick-off, it can take you a time to get going. So we were squeezing on and pressing them, and they were getting out, but not really going anywhere with it. But as soon as they got warmed up, and there were a couple of times we got in. Ugbo had a shot off at bar, maybe 5 minutes in, where Pervaders won't ball and cut it back to him, and he couldn't. He tried to open his body, but he'd not really got angle, got under it. But then there was I thought for 10 minutes it was a bit of a to and fro, but after that, once they got used to what we were doing, once they worked out how we were playing, there was a level of comfort to them. And for all they were good on ball, one at goals, I think it's third goal, it's just a ball off at top, that the centre half just sweeps his foot, and just by lobbing it over, he takes out the front four who are squeezing. He takes out the two lads in midfield. Bannon tries to bring it down, and they're in and away. And it was a tough watch. They up and scored in after 14 minutes, and it comes from that thing I was talking about. Broadhead has come inside. Dom can't go with him because Davis has come on overlap. So Dom's gone with him. Broadhead comes in. Hutchinson's already in there in that floating position, but Broadhead ends up in there winning the ball. They have a spell with it. We can't get it off them. But it all starts with Broadhead coming in and nicking ball. And then when it's played in from right hand side, they'll add Hutchinson. It's not actually a great first touch. He sort of takes it away behind him on turn. I think he's wanting to curl it into the far corner, but Bannon's coming across to cover. I think he takes that angle out, so he goes on the near side. I think he gets a bit of ankle on it, but it's wrong-footed Beadle. His weight's on his right foot. He's expecting that curling into top far corner, and it comes in low on this side. We're 1-0 down. You can see that we're going to get exposed as game goes on. But we're actually still in it. Like I said, it's only 1-0 down. They're not fully warmed up. We are having a bit of a go at it. Pervader has a really good strike on 17 minutes, something like that. Fantastic save from their goalkeeper, by the way. Strong one-handed save round foot at post. But from then on in, it's just far too easy for him to get in. They scored a lovely goal crosses. You know, I keep hearing that you don't score goals from crosses. I tell you what, we fucking concede goals from crosses, don't we? A ball in from right hand side, there's an header. It crashes against bar, comes back down. There's actually a foul on Iorfa. I don't like using these phases of play or whatever, but it's bar. When it comes back down, one of their lads holds Iorfa down. I think it's a lad who scores actually. And then it bobbles back again, and he tucks it home. That's 2-0, and it's good night Vienna, because you knew there were no way back from that. You know, usually in a game, don't matter who you're playing really, 2-0, you've always got a chance. If you can nick one goal back, there'll always be that little rocky 5 minutes that they have. But 2-0 today, you knew there were no coming for us. Third goal, he's gone off injured, that Burns. I'm not his biggest fan. He's a bit of a wind-up merchant, so I'm quite glad to see him go off. However, the kid that's come on and replaced him, he looked a really lively player. And the third goal, he's got on outside. It's a fantastic cross, absolutely begging to be tapped home. Broadhead's come in, like I said, been from first minute at game, from first minute of this video, and that's what I'm on about. Broadhead's coming off that left hand side, other side, drifted right across the front of Wednesday's fence, got in front of man, tucks it home. 3-0. And fully deserved for them, you've got to say. You know, Wednesday were getting exposed down both flanks. On one side because they were doubling up, on other side because I think Marvin can do better to try and stop the crosses there. The second one especially, so get out to him. But then he's not a left back, is he? You know, left wing back, yeah, left winger, yeah, but he's not. And I don't blame him for that, because players bring different skills to the table. You know, I think about left full backs. I think about Ashley Cole. I think about Stuart Pearce. People who, there's a certain tenacity to the game, and some people enjoy tackling. They're good at it. They enjoy that physical side to it, and some people are better going the other way, aren't they? And Marvin's one of them. So it's a game where we had to do a lot of defending. I don't think it particularly suited him out there. But obviously this Pedersen character, he's out. Reece James can't get a look in. The only other alternative were probably for Mayo, so I don't know. Yeah, so getting crosses in on our left hand side, and on other side, Dominic Iorfa's having a nightmare scenario, because he's got two lads running at him. One's coming inside him, one's going outside him, and like I said, he's in an owing situation. Whichever one he goes with, you guarantee the ball's going to go to other. At half an hour in, Heckway has to go out and makes a fantastic tackle on that Hutchinson, because he's gone out there. Again, they've sent two down. Baz has got back to try and help. Chucks him saying in. That Hutchinson just turns, puts him down on floor actually. Races into the box. Heckway gets a really strong tackle, which it had to be, because Kidd were in and just about to pull trigger. But they were just getting stronger and stronger as game went on. Gets from bad to worse, doesn't it, Dave? They're on attack. Pervader tracking back, pulls up hamstring. You can see it straight away at beginning at move when they score. Pulls up straight away, and that's. I mean, he's been brightest sparking last month. He's lively. He runs at people. He's got that bit of unpredictability, and I think Wednesday. I think that was one of the things yesterday, that they looked quite predictable what they were doing. He's pulled up. That could be a season, couldn't it? To be perfectly honest with you, hopefully it's just a little pull, but the way he pulled up, I think that looks bad. I think that looks bad. So Hutchinson scores again. He looked a player actually. I'd never heard of him, but a loanee from Chelsea. They were talking about his decision making on commentary. I'd got Ipswich commentary on. I don't know much wrong with his decision making to me. 2 goals, 2 assists. In fact, I think it's 4th goal. Burst down outside. A lot of players, on hat-trick, they'll take that on. It don't matter how wide angle is, they'll take that on. Greed and headlines start flashing through head. Brilliant, head up, cuts it back. Absolute tapping for their lad. He looks a really promising player. Really promising player. Last goal, that Al-Mohammadi. It's a shot from other substitute. I don't know what his name. Italian sounding lad. Discimiento, something like that. Anyway, he has strike. I almost feel like I'm nitpicking, because I'm thinking, can Beadle hold that? I think maybe I'm old-fashioned. They don't catch out these days, do they? They palm everything down. I saw an interview a few years back with Kevin Pressman. He was goalkeeping coach, I think, but it at Millwall, Watford, somewhere down there. I think it was Millwall. And he did an interview with Biggsy. I think it's on YouTube somewhere. And he was talking about coaching young kids, and they tell them to, punch stuff and palm stuff because these new bloody 50p flyaway balls you use these days move that much, you can more chance of wrecking your fingers. But palms it down, and Al-Mohammadi's onto it, rebound, tucks it home. I think we're a bit slow to react, but at that stage I think they've all stopped, giving a fuck. Yeah, very tough to watch. Very tough to watch. I mean, like I said, we were trying to put squeeze in them in first half, and they just played round us. I don't like him. I think he's a niggly little bastard. I've never really liked him, that Morsey, but I won't mind him playing for us, by the way. Him and Luongo just sat in front of their back 4. Back 3, because Davis is that far forward. Just sat there controlling it, receiving it, little give and goals, and first half when Volks and Bannon squeeze them 2, Hutchinson's behind them, so they're like little triangles round them, and then you've got Broadhead coming in, so there were times in that first half you've got Bannon and Volks in there, and they got 4 midfielders round them, you know what I mean? They got Morsey and Luongo in front of them, and they got Hutchinson and Broadhead behind them. There was always an outball. There was always a ball through them, and them 2 had got too much to do. And I know Danny's changed it. Bannon's come off at half time, and he's put Diaby in there. But same thing applies. There were just too much to do in there, And I'm sure they've all took a slagging off. And scoreline needs slagging off because it's a pace team. But in terms of performance, you've got to give your players the best opportunity to do what they're good at. I don't think the way we set up give our lads. I don't really think it gave them any chance yesterday. Like I said, outnumbered in there at middle at Park. Dom's outnumbered out there on that left hand flank. They'd always got a ball. And like I said, Morsey, I thought he was terrific. I don't like him, but I thought he was fantastic for them. Was patrolling in front of back 4, always available for pass, little wall passes, getting them going, making little angles, and they pulled us apart. Luongo again. That would have been gutting to see, because I loved Luongo when he was at Wednesday. And I'm not slagging Wednesday off here, because when they let him go, I can understand why they let him go, because he would hardly ever fit. I mean, when he were fit, probably my favourite player in that team, that team that come down and beginning of the season after, but really fit, and we don't know what wages he was on, so when they let him go, I was gutted, but I was like, yeah, you can't offer a deal to somebody who plays 10 games a season, Sod's law, that he plays every bleeding week for them, doesn't he? Maybe they've got a training ground that's got a pitch with a little bit of give on it. I don't know. But yeah, Morsey, Luongo made it look easy in there, and it probably were easy for him. It probably one of the easier games they'll play this season. That Hutchinson, very lively, but again, he's floating. He's got little pockets of space. Dead easy for him to receive ball and turn and have a run. And like I said, Broadhead, quality footballer for this division. I can easily see him playing high up, and that Davis. I mean, I'm surprised they kept hold of him. I think it's only because of the league position. Because I thought there'd be Premier clubs having a look at him in January. They probably were. I won't be surprised if they've had to stave off some bids for him. So yeah, very good Ipswich team, very well drilled. Always going to be a tough game, whatever team they put out and whatever team we put out. But I was very surprised how we set up. I really were. Wednesday man at match. I can't. I don't think I can. I think I'm going to have to bite bullet and I think I'll have to give me a man at match to that Sam Morsey. I thought he were terrific for them. I thought he ran the show. As much as that Hutchinson will get headlines with goals and assists, and he does look a right tidy player. I'm old-fashioned. I think games are won and lost in midfield, and I thought we never had a grip on that midfield from the first minute of that game, and sometimes you get what you deserve, and I didn't think we deserved out from the game. It was a really, really poor performance. The only thing I've seen on, like I said, I've avoided online because I dread to think what Twitter and Facebook and whatever else. But I did watch a 2-minute interview with Danny after the game, and he looked like and sounded like I felt. I thought there were one or two interesting things he was saying in there, though, not just about the performance not being acceptable in it, and he did hold his hands up and said he thought he got things wrong as well, which you'll always get respect from players as a manager if you hold your hands up and take your share of it. If you go in the dressing room every week when they've lost and you haven't done this, you haven't done that, it wears thin. And I do think if you go in and hold your hands up and, all right, lads, that one's on me, maybe I could have done more. I think your players respect you for that. But the interesting bit I thought was when he was talking about Ipswich as a club, where they are, on about the ground and the facilities, where they are in terms of the transfers, and that were the first signs to me that he's getting a bit fed up with things at club, sort of infrastructure at club. I know Chansiri, you've got to be fair to him in that he has brought Danny in, he has let him bring all his staff in, and obviously you're a young manager coming to a country you don't really know. You come in, you see that big famous old stadium, and you probably think, yeah, this is for my first managerial job, but God, this is a size, But clubs are more than just having a big stadium and getting 20,000 odd fans every week. What's behind the scenes, what's infrastructure. And he talked the other week, funnily enough, about transfer window and all deals and how involved he was, which there's two ways you can look at that. You can look at it, it's great that managers being involved in it, not having players foisted on him, which I think a few previous Wednesday managers have dropped a big hint at in the last 8 years, that they've had players forced on them that they didn't want. So good in that sense that he's involved and probably getting a say, a big say. But equally, he shouldn't be having to do everything. He shouldn't be having to go into all the meetings and meet all them agents and players and this and that other. And that comes back to infrastructure, and that's what is Wednesday's infrastructure. We ain't got a board, have we? We haven't got people sat around a table who have got different expertises in different areas that can take pressure off manager and let him concentrate on what he needs to do. So I just get a very Sunday League vibe about where things are run at Wednesday. And like I said, previous managers have dropped hints at that. I think Bruce were dropping hints. Pulis, certainly. Whatever we think about Pulis and his style of football or what have you, he was saying enough when you read between lines about what he thought about Wake Club were on, and that's the first sort of signs I've seen that from Danny. I've got an international break coming up. I've got Swansea, haven't we, which is a winnable game for us on horizon. Everybody back and fit for that. Hopefully Pervader is fit for that. I can't see it. The way he pulled up straight away, I was like, oh shit, that could be 6 weeks down. But hopefully we can get people fit. Maybe even have a rest. I know what the temptation will be. We've got Spank for 6. Let's have him in every day and we can work the bollocks off. But pressure. Sometimes I think, no, actually, don't have him in. Give him a week off. Let Patterson take him on a fishing holiday or something. Just do something different. I don't know. Or maybe just have him in just practising free kicks, because our set pieces. I know Danny said he wanted a set piece coach and it fell through. I think my mate Jake, I think he was saying they were struggling to get a work permit for the lad that they wanted. And I get that. You've got a specialist set piece coach, comes in, that's all he does. He focuses on that, lets other people focus on other areas, and that's great. Comes back to infrastructure again, doesn't it? And your training infrastructure as well. But surely with experience we've got in there, Neil Thompson, Chris Powell, surely these people in there between them can get some routines where something a bit different. We never look like scoring, when we get a corner. I remember watching Wednesday teams at past. You got a corner, you thought, oh, goal coming here. I think when I was a kid, Wilkinson teams, if they got a corner, you were like, there's a 50% chance this is good in back of their net. Do you know what I mean? Megson, to a certain extent, his teams, big lads. Reader Johnson coming up front back, Rob Jones, centre halves who are going to get out end of things. Nigel Pearson, Big Viv Anderson. We've got some big units in there. They've got to be able to work something between them, surely to God, with the experience they've got, the careers that they've had as players and coaches. They've got to be able to come up with something better than what we're doing. Surely to God. Everybody's got to chip in with goals, and we just haven't chipped in enough. Goals from all around team this season has been really poor. And I know Cisco, we never went in opposition's half at pitch, so that's probably set us back a bit. But even now, we have been attacking teams. Just not getting enough goals from a wide enough spread of players. Pervader looks like he can nick a goal, or at least he did before his hamstring went. But funny enough, I was talking to my dad about this. I said, is it not worth chucking Gregory in squad just for sending on for the last 20 minutes of a game off bench? I know he might, what is he, 36? I know he might not be hitting these running stats that they have in training for pressing and blah, 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 but the last 20 minutes of a game when you just want someone who's alive in and around box, you don't need to be able to sprint 20 yards and close somebody down at arm's length, and trigger it there. Just need someone who can make half a yard, somebody who can turn 2 foot in box and create a little gap to get a shot away. Oh God, yeah, goal difference. Because ironically, results this weekend have not been too bad for us. But that goal difference is going to haunt us. So absolute slew of 0-0s this weekend. Middlesbrough 0, Blackburn 0. Rotherham 0, Huddersfield 0. Huddersfield, bloody hell no, they'd only got 10 men. Rotherham could have really done with getting something there for our sake, not theirs. Stoke City, back to losing ways, spanked 3-0 by Norwich. Sargent, Gomez and Barnes there. And QPR a 0-0 up at Sunderland. Leeds done us a favour today, but 2-0 win, Notto and James up there. And Watford, through Dennis in 44th minute, put paid to Birmingham City. And Preston North End clung on to a tight 1-0 win away at Plymouth. So, as I said, all in all, despite Wednesday's spanking, we've probably been quite lucky with the results at other grounds today and yesterday. So the table, Wednesday still down there, 38 points. Huddersfield on 39 with that point against Rotherham United. Birmingham pulled down as well there into 39th with their defeat. Point for QPR puts them up to 40. Stoke on 41 and Plymouth 41 as well. But that goal difference, minus 31. I mean, if it comes down that we finish level on points with teams above us, and I think there's every chance that could happen with where games have gone this season. To go down on goal difference would be an absolute killer, but it just emphasises how poorly we've defended at one end and our complete inability to get ball in net at other end for large spells of this season. So there we have it. Nightmare weekend, absolute spanking, and yet somehow we're still in there clinging. Like I said, that goal difference, if out kills us, it'll be that. Week off now before Swansea. Interesting to see what they do on training ground if they do out. Interesting to see how Danny reacts to this game and way that we set up and got him picked off at will. But we're still in there. We're still in there. Just clinging. Sounds like that's overeating. Right, time for bed. Try and enjoy your week off. Get filled back again, forget about football, get them positive vibes again, all ready to go again and have it all drained back out of you. See you later.